Hello and welcome to Bedtime Story with Miss Anna. Are you ready to go to sleep? Kiss your mommy, kiss your daddy. It's time for story time. Tonight we have an amazing story from Little People Big Dreams. Muhammad Ali. Once there was a little boy from Kentucky who knew he would go far in life. His name was Cassius, and he lived in a little house with his parents and younger brother. One day, someone stole his brand new bicycle. He told the police officer that he wanted to face the thief. The officer said, "Cassius, you better learn how to fight first." Soon, Cassius was learning how to box. He was not the strongest fighter, but he had a secret weapon. He was faster than anyone else. Fight after fight, Cassius proved himself as a junior boxer. His talent took him to the Olympics in Rome, where he won a gold medal. But it was not enough. He dreamed of going professional. He trained harder than ever, and not just in the ring. Cassius set his sights on the World Heavyweight Championship. To tease his opponents, Cassius often used rhymes describing how he was going to win. I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Some thought it was trash talk, but it sounded like poetry and it worked. He got his chance to fight for the title against Sonny Liston, one of the world's toughest fighters. Everyone thought Cassius was scared to death, but he braved the champion's belt belonged to him. Cassius was not just a famous boxer, but a courageous defender of African American rights in a time when it was dangerous to speak up. He also became inspired by the teachings of Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali, a beautiful Arabic name that made him feel strong and proud to be himself. Then a war started on the other side of the war, and Ali thought it was wrong and refused to fight in it. He was stripped of his title and banned from boxing for 3 years. But for him, beliefs were more important. When Ali came back, he did as only the greatest do. The Ali Shuffle, the rope-a-dope. He won some of his most famous fights, becoming the first boxer to win the heavyweight belt 3 times. Ali was admired and loved by people from all around the world, and when he retired, he gave all that love back by working for charities and helping others. Since then, many young bosses have followed in the steps of Muhammad Ali, the little boy who used to say, "One day, I'm going to be the greatest." Muhammad Ali, the greatest bosses of all time. I hope that you enjoyed this book. This book was amazing, right? I have another story for you. We have another amazing story from Little People Big Dreams. Mary Shelley. Baby Mary was the child of two writers, a famous feminist and a well-known philosopher. She was born in London at a time of great change and amazing inventions. But Mary's mother became ill after she was born. The doctors couldn't do anything, and she died when Mary was just 11 days old. A few years later, her father married their neighbor. When her new stepmother and children arrived at her house, Mary knew they would not get along. Mary had a secret retreat that she visited every day, her mother's grave at St. Patrick's churchyard. There, she spent hours reading her mother's books and writing her own stories. At night, Mary would hide behind the sofa and listen to the many artists who visited her father. One of them was a married poet named Percy Bysshe Shelley. To everyone's surprise, Mary and Percy fell in love and ran away from London. Only Claire, Mary's stepsister, stood by their side, traveling through Europe with them. They went to Switzerland, where they visited Lord Byron, a famous poet. It was a rainy summer, and to pass the time, Lord Byron challenged his guests to write a horror story. Around this time, scientists discovered that the brain uses electricity to move the body. Mary was fascinated with this and thought it could be a great subject to write about. For days, Mary busied herself with the story. One night, a terrifying image appeared in her dream, a creature made of all body parts. The next morning, Mary began to write Frankenstein, the story of a monster with yellow skin and watery eyes, brought to life with an electric shock. Mary's book became an instant success, but her name was kept secret for 5 years. Many people thought that such a terrifying story could only have been written by a man. Mary kept writing all her life, but Frankenstein remained her best novel and the greatest horror story ever written. It became a classic, retold over and over again. And still today, millions of readers feel a chill when they read Frankenstein, a story written by a fearless girl who became the mother of modern science fiction. Mary Shelley, a wonderful artist and writer. I hope that you enjoyed the bedtime story for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so you get the notifications. Good night, good night, good night.